What's up, everybody? We're back with another episode, and tonight it's a special show. We are going to be talking about baseball and softball. It's almost springtime in Clemson, and that means mitts are going to be popping, bats clinging, and it's that wonderful time of year where the chill of winter is about to fall away. So I'm Garrett Mitchell, joined as always by Griffin Barfield, Clifton Kennedy, and our very special guest tonight, the man, the myth, and the legend, Cole Gerard. So grab a chair, gather around, and it is time to get going on this episode of Around the Ball.
Getting that stuff to you hearing that sound.
All right, guys. So, hey, it's that wonderful time of year again. Look, whenever you hear the mitts start popping, that means winter's almost over. It's even been a little bit warmer here lately. So that could only mean one thing. It's almost time for baseball and softball. So let's just jump right into this. We'll just lead right in with baseball. Look, the Clemson baseball program's coming off of a great season under Eric Bakich in his first year leading the program in 2023. And expectations are very, very high for the program coming into 24. So high, in fact, that several national polls have Clemson ranked in the top 10 in the country. So, Cole, you're our resident baseball expert, so we'll let you lead it off, man. What are you hearing, and what are the thoughts and sentiments around this Clemson baseball program that has become so highly regarded as we get ready to start a new season?
Yeah, huge year for Clemson baseball last year under first-year head coach Eric Bakich. This year, I think our squad looks a lot better than last year in a lot of ways, coming from the bullpen with a lot of incoming freshmen, and our transfer class is unreal. You got guys returning on the diamond like Cam Kennerella, Jack Crichton, Blake Wright, and Will Taylor, who Will Taylor now gets to focus just on baseball. So that's going to be really sweet watching him on the diamond this year. And there's just a lot of two guys actually that were redshirted last year come to my mind really, really well. And that's Nolan Naraki and Cooper Blauser. So I'm really excited to see those guys get to it in 2 weeks.
Yeah. Griff, you jump right in and take it, Cliff.
Yeah, man. So I was going to say, tell us a little bit about Drew Titsworth a little bit, because I know he's a freshman. Tell us a little bit about him.
Yeah, so Drew Titsworth, he's a freshman, like you said. So you got a couple freshmen like Aiden Canuck as well. And those two, Drew Titsworth and Aiden Canuck, I really, really think those will be contributors out of the bullpen early in the season. Drew Titsworth mostly, Aiden Canuck's more in the starting role. But like you said, with Drew Titsworth, I think he is like next Friday, he's going to get action right out of the gate.
Yeah, and Griff, you're on campus every day, obviously. So with your ear to the ground, what are some of the things that you're hearing among the student body and just the buzz that's going around as the season gets ready to start? I would imagine that there's a great deal of excitement.
Yeah, there sure is. And like Cole said, I think Eric Bakich returned plenty of key players, like you said. Will Taylor, Cam Kennerella, Jack Crichton. The only question mark I see, like at the beginning of the season, is you're completing a brand new infield. You lost guys like Caden Grice, Benjamin Blackwell, Riley Bertram at second base. So I'm interested to see how that all stacks up. But I know that baseball's a long season. Chemistry builds, as you saw with Clemson. But I've heard nothing but great things. Clemson being a top 10 team in most preseason rankings. I've heard a bunch of my friends around campus, even just people throughout like newsrooms I've been in, that are just very, very excited about Clemson baseball, and they're just very excited for next weekend. So I'm excited too. It's a great time to be a Clemson Tiger, ACC reigning champs, and I'm excited to see what they do starting later on this month.
Yeah, Cole, what I was going to ask is now obviously you've got a long way to go before you think about this getting to this point. But it's still fresh in everybody's minds how last season ended. Obviously, you host a regional. You come up short. The epic, I think it was 14, 15-inning game against Tennessee that you end up, I think you blew several leads in that game and lost it. It put you behind the 8-ball and one from which Clemson never really got out from behind. So with that still fresh in everybody's mind, what has been the mindset of this program as they've navigated through the offseason and coming into this year, what's the key to this team, man? What do they have to do to take that next step once they navigate through the season, the ACC slate, and they get to that point? I know it's looking a long way ahead, but at some point we're going to get there. So what's the key to finishing the job and having that consistency straight throughout?
Yeah, the mindset is always going to be Omaha. But, losing guys like Caden Grice, Billy Amick, and Cooper Ingle, you got guys to fill those roles. And I think with this team this year, this team can do nothing. I think they could go straight to Omaha and just fly by the regionals, super regionals. Clemson hasn't been since, I think, 2010. I think that's the last year we were in the supers as well. So I'm really stoked about this team this year and really think that Eric Bakich and the squad can take them there.
Yeah. Now, what are some of the strengths of this team, guys? Obviously you're breaking in, as you said, brand new infield. So, Griffin, you pointed it out. It's going to take a little bit of time to build chemistry. The infield is the one place where, look, when you have a lot of attrition, you have new guys coming in, it does take a long time to build that infield chemistry. There's a certain coordination that goes along with it. But what are the strengths of this team going to be? I mean, it seems like offensively they'll be pretty deep. And but what does everybody feel about the pitching situation?
I mean, personally, I really think that Clemson will be very good over time in terms of pitching. Yes, you are losing Caden Grice, who was an All-American, who was a incredible two-way threat that got, national looks, which I think is just incredible. But I really think pitching is going to be okay. I really think Austin Gordon's going to be the guy who's going to be your weekend starter. And I really like this bullpen. Eric Bakich brought in a lot of relievers, have a lot of great freshmen, like Cole said, that, is able to just strengthen this bullpen. And another thing I really like this top of the order. Cam Canarella, he's the number one prospect in a lot of, baseball websites, which I really strongly believe in. And Will Taylor, too. He's only fixated on baseball, and he batted, I believe it was like over 300 last season. And he was a dual sport athlete. Now he's just focusing on football. He won the most improved player award on the team last year. I really think the sky's the limit for him, too. I think, especially focusing on one sport, I think them two are the big guys to worry about, especially at the top of the order.
Yeah, I think Cam's going to be a good one, coming back. He was, All-American, did all that good stuff. You got Austin Gordon, like you were saying. I think Rocky, is that how you say his name, Cole?
Yeah, Nolan Rocky.
Yeah, I think, I went to the media day with Cole, and him and I went, and they were knocking the ball around then. And I also heard, I think it was Friday's scrimmage. They were really killing the ball on Friday. And I think, go ahead.
Like you with Nolan really like shocked me this weekend. Like I've always known he was really good on the field and especially on offense. But I wrote down Nolan's stats this weekend, and it was 8 hits, 6 extra base hits. He had 2 homers yesterday and 4 RBIs yesterday. So I'm like, wow. Along with Cooper Blauser. Cooper Blauser hit two bombs on Friday. So I'm really excited about them too, especially being red shirts. Yeah,
I think there was some home runs even hit off Bakich, right? Because he came from what I heard, he came in to pitch at the end, and there was a couple of bombs hit off of him.
Look, I'm not sure that he quite has the velocity that maybe he had 20 years ago. Time catches up to all of us, right?
He was mimicking a little submarine.
Yeah.
Oh God! Now, Griffin, you weren't even. I'm sorry, buddy, you weren't alive when he pitched. But Clifton probably knows exactly who I'm talking about. Cole, anytime you say submarine pitchers, my mind it immediately defaults to former Atlanta Braves reliever Brad Klontz in the mid '90s. He was part of the '95 World Series championship team. Dude was probably the most pronounced submarine pitcher I've ever seen. I think his hand actually hit the dirt when he released it. He dropped down so low. So, sorry, I had to go down memory lane for a bit. When you said submarine, I'm like, oh, God, it's Brad Klontz all over again.
Yeah. But
So, guys, what about transfers? Now, Eric Bakich is kind of the antithesis of it's the exact opposite of football. Eric Bakich is not shy about using the transfer portal. He brought in some absolute studs in his first year, and by all accounts, he's gone and done it again. So, who are some of these newcomers that have come from transfer portal that that you guys think are going to make an impact on this year's team?
Yeah, leading straight into that with the transfers, I'm going Jimmy Obertop at the top, coming from Michigan. Played with Eric Bakich for 3 years, and he's going to play his 5th year with Clemson. Another guy is Jacob Hinderleiter, coming from Davidson. He's probably going to be our shortstop. And then you got Alden Mathis coming from Richmond. You got some more depth in Andrew Chufo that can play short, coming from Georgetown, who didn't get to play last year. Coming off an injury, but this transfer class is just looking unreal. And another guy from Wofford, 2 guys from Wofford actually, Matthew Marshall, Lucas Smallstedt, I think was the player of the year in his or pitcher of the year in his conference, if I'm not mistaken. And I really see Matthew Marshall in a starting role, looking at like a Sunday guy type deal. So this transfer class is unreal, filling in those gaps like Billy Amick, Caden Grice, Cooper Ingle. And, of course, losing Benjamin Blackwell and Riley Bertram.
Yeah, guys. And now when you look at the ACC, you're going to need as many bullets in the gun, in the proverbial gun, as you can get, because there's some heavy hitters in the ACC. It's emerged as a great baseball conference. So you're going to need all the ammo you can get to compete with some of these guys. And the one that immediately jumps out to me is Wake Forest. And I've seen some polls that have them ranked as high as number 1 in the country. Obviously, when you share a conference with them, you're going to run into Wake Forest, and that's somebody you're going to have to deal with and go through if you want to win the ACC and potentially, get regional, super regional, and then make your way to Omaha. So where does this Clemson team stack up with somebody like Wake Forest that it's inevitable you're going to run into them?
I'll take this one off the cut. I really think that, it's baseball is just how hot are you at the right time. And Clemson was hot at the right time. 17-game win streak at one point in the season. And that's going to take you far. That took you to the ACC. And, it was just an unfortunate series of events, what happened in Tennessee and the regionals and everything around that. But I really think that, the ACC, I think outside of the SEC, might be the second best baseball conference in the country. I really think that the talent is always there. And I really think they are a couple pieces away from Wake. Wake always bring in a great team. They're always, a baseball powerhouse. But you can't forget about teams like Duke. You can't forget about teams like Virginia, Miami, who went to the final. North Carolina won the ACC, I believe, 2 years ago. So there's plenty of teams that can give Clemson a run for its money. And if they think that they can defend the ACC and defend their belt, they're surely mistaken if it's going to be that easy in their eyes.
Yeah, I was at the Wake series. I think me and Cole were at the Wake series last year, and we were in both. Weren't we both weren't you in the press box with me? I think you were.
Yep.
And we came within, I would say, a couple of outs of beating them 2 out of 3 last year, and we were this close, and we made a couple of mistakes. That cost us the game. But I really think we are again this close. And I think we can jump over that hump this year against Wake Forest. I know they got us 4th in the league and second in the division. But and I know last year Wake had their pitching was stacked last year, and they had hitters. And from what I understand, they're back there again, but I think we are too, right? And so I think this year we have to go up there, but and it's always hard to go to play away from your home, but I think we're close, and I think we can beat them and maybe take over the division. I really do. I really think we can do that with the new pieces we got coming in and the pieces that were already here. So
yeah, and schedule
wise,
you, Cole? Sorry guys, when you look at the schedule, especially your non out of ACC schedule, What are some of the premier matchups and the big matchups that people should be looking out for? Obviously, you play tough competition. It prepares you for tough competition once you reach ACC play. So who are some of these teams that Clemson's going to go up against that's going to challenge them early?
Yeah. You got some really, really strong non-conference games this year, starting off with Kansas State in a Tuesday or Wednesday midweek game. You travel to Georgia. Georgia does not travel to us, unfortunately, this year. Then you play Charlotte in Truist Field in downtown Charlotte. So those are some really good games to look forward to in non-conference.
Yeah, I know you don't want to hear this, Cole, but don't forget about Carolina. South Carolina, that is. I know you don't want to hear that, but
weekend series wise, my bad.
Yeah,
I thought you were just talking about midweek.
I know he probably was talking about midweek, but don't forget about South Carolina and North Carolina. I think we play North Carolina this year, right? No, we don't.
We don't play them until 2025.
Do not.
Oh yeah, we don't play them again. Okay, so but yeah, I wouldn't forget about South Carolina. They're supposed to be pretty good this year too. So,
well, look, Cole's out here stirring up family drama, right? He's forgetting about our little brothers. Shame, man.
Yeah,
you can't forget about little brother.
It's funny that you say that because two of my really good buddies are playing for South Carolina, so it's kind of tough. I'm like, the heck with them on the field, but I love them off the field.
Well, hey, look, my wife's a Carolina fan, so I have to contend with that throughout the year. But hey, I still love her, so that's just how it goes, man. This is how it goes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, it sounds like the baseball season is shaping up to be very exciting, and we're going to talk about softball in just a minute. But now will be a good time to tell you to go check out our fine sponsor, Arden's Burger Grill. And if you want to hit a home run and strike out hunger, then you need to go see our friends at Arden's Burger Grill for some of their amazing double dip wings, mouth-watering burgers, or sizzling grills. And they'll make sure to take good care of you. You could tell them that their friends from around the Paw sent you there. And don't balk. Just go straight through and get your game day food at Arden's Burger Grill. So, guys, let's talk a little bit about softball now. Again, prospects very exciting for a great season coming up. And I think any program would have to be excited knowing that one Valerie Cagle is returning to the circle. Probably pound for pound the best player in the country, best two-way player in the country. As a matter of fact, before we started recording this episode, I said she's almost like the Caitlin Clark of college softball. So Clemson softball, what's it looking like, guys?
I really think you're just reloading. John Rittman, he's bringing back so many experienced women that I really think that this team, once again, they were one of the best teams in the country for a while. They went on a little bit of a losing streak, a little bit of a skid. And then obviously, if you watch I believe the super regionals when they fell to Oklahoma, that was just a heartbreaker. But not only is Cagle the only one returning, you're returning girls, like Alogaleo, Mackenzie Clark, Julia Baumhart, just all across the board, just players that can play. And I really think this Clemson team could do even better than how they did previously. I really think the ACC is opened up to them. As long as you get past Florida State, I believe that they're the top team in softball. I really need to get better baseball and softball knowledge because fully in basketball season. Anywho, I really think this team has the potential to go far. You have the players, you have the skill. All that's left is, you just got to play. And softball, just like baseball, it's a streaky sport. It's a tough sport to just continue to chug on wins. So it'll be interesting to see how this team does for sure.
Yeah. Like Griffin said, John Rittman's returning a lot of people, a lot of women actually, including Valerie Cagle and Mackenzie Clark. I actually haven't been able to catch a lot of softball games. Meanwhile, because it's a spring sport like baseball, baseball is one of my favorite sports. No disrespect to softball, but I haven't really been able to watch a lot of games. But like you said, in Super Regionals versus Oklahoma, that was just heartbreaking, and I felt for them, for the girls. I was like, wow, just that close. And did we tie it in the ninth or in the seventh? And
I know we had the lead. We led for a
Had the
lot
lead,
of that
yes.
ball game, and I was watching it as well. And of course, Oklahoma went on to win the national championship. And I think I don't know that anybody really questioned that they were the best team in the country. When you looked at their record and looked at their stats, the way that they were beating teams, I mean, it was really just incredible what Oklahoma was able to do. And when you say all that to say this, Clemson was right there with them and led that game into the very late innings. I think somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I think it went to extra innings if memory serves. But look, you were right there toe to toe with the undisputed number one team in the country. I think that says a lot about the program and the mentality that you have. You just build on that coming into this year. There's no reason why confidence shouldn't be sky high right now.
For sure, and you use losses like those as fuel. And I just pulled it up. They were up
That way.
7. I believe it was 7-4
Yeah.
going into the seventh, which is just heartbreaking. I think Cagle was pitching towards the end to try to close it out, and Oklahoma's Oklahoma. They're a softball powerhouse, but you use losses as fuel, and especially if it's a heartbreaker, it ends your season. That's going to be used as a motivator for a majority of the season, especially down the stretch. If this team starts, taking a little bit more losses like they did last season, all you got to do is bring up this Oklahoma game, and I think the energy is going to be back up. Yeah. I don't take it as I don't take it as something bad to, think about pessimistically. I see it more as something optimistic for this team to look forward to, that say, hey, we were at this moment. We can go even farther with the squad that we have, and I think that they can very much do so.
Yeah, I went to the orange and purple game yesterday. Took my daughter and had a good old time. In batting practice, they were killing the ball, hitting balls out left and right. And Whiteside, I think her name's Whiteside. She's a sophomore or a freshman. She hit a 2-run bomb. And then of course Valerie Cagle hit the winning home run. So in the orange and white game yesterday, yeah, no surprise at all.
Exactly.
She had a rough inning because Logaleo, made a couple of errors, but purple team scored 7 runs and went up, I think 7-3, and orange came back and tied it, and then of course Valerie Cagle did Valerie Cagle stuff, and she killed it. She hit the home run went out of the stadium, over the fence, over the back fence, toward the creek is what I like to call it. It was a bomb, no joke. It was a no doubter. And
so in other words, you're saying that NASA should have been notified. It had rocket boosters on it.
Oh,
right?
Yeah. Well, so same one for Whiteside. She killed it, man. And then I think her name is what is this girl's name? She's number 21. Hold on a second. Her name is Rugarinsky or something like that. That's her last name. And she's number 21, and she killed one. And I mean, they were hitting them out left and right yesterday. I mean, they hit I think 2 or 3 home runs. And they were just killing the ball. But Valerie pitched, and we saw a couple other pitchers. So I think they're going to be good. They're gonna get back to a super. I firmly believe that. They won 49 games last year, and I think they're good enough to win 50 this year. No joke. I think the only team that they need to worry about beating, or that they're going to have a tough time beating, is Florida State.
Yeah.
And because they should have beat Florida State last year, and Valerie Cagle got hit up big time. So I think that's where they're going to struggle. I think if they struggle at all, And there's the transfer that they brought in from Auburn. Her name is Lauren Garcia, I think. She's going to be a big player this year too. And because she got a couple of hits and drove in a run or two. So I think she's going to be big.
Yeah, well, look, you look at the softball program, right, and it's the same thing. You can go back to 2015 and the Clemson football program, and I think there's some parallels there when I say this. Uh, they were within sight. Clemson softball was inside of the summit last year, and you can't get to the top of the mountain until you first get to a position where you can see it, right? So we saw it in 2015 with football. You lose the heartbreaker in the championship game, but you saw the top. And then you knew the way to get there the next year. So these Lady Tigers, they were right there with the eventual national champion Oklahoma Sooners. They saw the top. Now they know the path. They know the way. And I think it gives them a bit of a clear image of what they need to do and where they need to go coming into this season.
I think, too, another big thing is, these players, they're all graduate seniors, super seniors. And, they could be a transfer redshirt. That type thing. Experienced players don't lose twice in the same situation. You could see it with basketball, especially football too. If you have an experienced team, you're not going to fall the same time. I really think this team is going to show a lot of growth through that type of adversity that happened in Oklahoma. And I'm really excited to see how far it takes them because, the sky's the limit for this team. I really think that top to bottom, it's a great lineup. It's a great lineup, great rotation overall. I really think this team can go far. And could they win a College World Series? I think they have the talent to do so. It's just a matter of putting the execution in.
I really do think this team is going to be back on top. Like you said, right back into a super regional with no troubles, especially with a veteran like Valerie Cagle. And one of my favorite things about Clemson softball, I haven't been able to catch many games. It's just like every game, it doesn't matter who they're playing. There's like no empty seat in McWhorter Stadium. The crowd is always there, especially even for like their spring game yesterday, the orange purple game. I was at the baseball scrimmage and, I didn't even know that the orange purple game was yesterday. And I was like, wow, did they start their season today? And I was like, wow, that's a sold out crowd for a scrimmage. And then as soon as it gets over, a lot of people start piling into Doug Kingsmore Stadium. And it's like, wow, like I've been to 4 games for Clemson softball, and I've never been where there's been an open seat. So I really love what John Rittman's doing here at Clemson.
Yeah, I think they're gonna be good this year. And Logaleo said in their post game interview yesterday, I caught some of the video, and she said, we've had 2 heartbreak seasons in a row. It's ended in 2 heartbreaks. She was like, and this year we don't want that to happen, and we're going to do everything in our power for that not to happen, and we're just going to have fun. And so I really think that with all, like you said, Griff, with all the seniors, all the transfers, some fresh faces, I think it's just going to rejuvenate the program, and they're just reloading. And they're gonna do good things this year. If they can hit 50 wins, over 50 wins, I really do think, and beat Florida State, and then go and beat Oklahoma, then you're talking about national champion. If they can do all that,
I think if they can host a super regional,
yeah,
they're going right to Oklahoma City.
Yeah, yep,
yeah, no doubt.
I firmly believe that.
Well, guys, it's been a lot of fun talking baseball and softball with you tonight. So before we wrap up this episode, any final thoughts?
No, we're going to talk about some basketball, right? A little bit of basketball, right? We're going.
Well, we're going to go ahead and let people know that we're going to be coming back at you on Wednesday, and we're going to have a full-length basketball episode. And we're going to be talking about Wednesday night. We're going to be talking about the heartbreaking loss against Virginia that went down to the final seconds. But hopefully we're going to be talking about a big victory at Chapel Hill. Clemson taking on North Carolina tomorrow night. I believe that's at 7 p.m. So, we're going to talk about the disappointment of the Virginia game, but hopefully we're talking about the elation of only the second win all time for Clemson basketball in Chapel Hill. So, it could go 2 ways, but we'll be looking forward to bringing you that on Wednesday.
Yeah, Griff will be there, so he can give us all the – yeah, he's going to be there, so he can give us a fresh look at all this.
I mean, I can't pass it up. It's at North Carolina, historic court, and there is a little like big games. Duke, North Carolina, it's a big game, obviously. Maybe a little bit of fatigue, you see. Maybe being a little bit optimistic, but I'll be at the game. I'm beyond stoked. I think it's going to be an awesome atmosphere, no matter who comes out on top. Similar to the Duke game, but yeah, should be a fun one. We'll see what Clemson can do.
Might see you there.
Yeah, and I tell you what, we'll see if Armando Baycott for North Carolina has any dental armor. I don't know if you guys saw this or not, but he said after the game against Duke that in a collision with Kyle Filipowski, it chipped 5 of his teeth.
Oh my God!
Yeah, so Armando Baycott has
that.
5 chipped teeth from running into Kyle Filipowski. And I would say that old Flip got his money's worth right there. But yeah, so yeah, Griffin, you'll have to report back and let us know if he's wearing some kind of mouth guard or something. But if he is, then PJ Hall knows where to go. I think PJ Hall might try to have to send him back to the dentist.
Yeah,
I don't know if PJ would do that. That seems like a Duke big man's job to do. Just hearing PJ in interviews, I don't think he'd be the guy to knock 2 or 3 more out.
I don't know that he would even do it on purpose. I just think PJ plays that hard.
Probably.
Yeah.
That would be the only instance.
So you said Baycott's got 5 chipped teeth?
5 chipped teeth. Yes.
Wow. So maybe that's why
that's crazy.
The line keeps going down because it opened up as a Clemson an 8.5 point underdog. Now it's down to 7.5. So keep going down. Let's see if he's
there you go
wearing something on his face. He'll be a little scared to go up with PJ tomorrow.
Hey, look,
there you go.
Come out hot. It only takes one hot night. Georgia Tech's proved that, right? I mean, Georgia Tech beat Clemson, Duke, and North Carolina. So it's the ACC, man. You never know what's going to happen.
Just got to hit the ball well and shoot well.
Yep.
No doubt about it.
That's true.
Well, guys, I tell you what, it's a lot of fun as always. Griffin, Clifton, Cole, appreciate you jumping on tonight. And hey, come back anytime, man. It's like one big party here at Around the Paul. The more, the merrier. So we have a lot of fun doing it. But all right, guys, we hope everybody enjoys this episode. Now, don't forget to give us a like and subscribe on YouTube if you like what we're doing. Don't be afraid to hit that thumbs up. Hit the bell for notifications and smash that subscribe button as well. Helps us out. And we certainly appreciate everybody who tunes in every week and watches what we do as much as we enjoy bringing it to you. So until next time, the crew from Around the Paul, Garrett Mitchell, Griffin Barfield, Clifton Kennedy, and Cole Gerard. As always, we say God bless and go Tigers.
Go Tigers.
Go Tigers. Go Tigers.